Well, welcome everybody to our red hot call in June, and it is hot in Southern Indiana. So I don't know about where you all live, but so it's a great name for this call, Red Hot. I'm going to open up in prayer. God, I just thank you for this time, Lord, just to connect. Even though we're on Zoom, that Lord, I pray that our hearts connect, our minds. I pray that we can take some time just to breathe this in, Lord, and exhale, and to just be able to apply the things that are pertinent to us today, God. And Lord, I just pray for all of us in our businesses. I pray your favor, Lord. That is my word this year. And I just pray your favor over this red hot meeting. And I pray your favor over our leaders. And I pray your favor over our up and coming leaders and all of our reds and our whole entire units that we represent, God. Let us not take that for granted. And I just thank you for it. And I pray a blessing over it in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
And then Mary, is it okay if you just do the slides?
Yeah, I sure can.
Okay.
All right, you guys. Well, let me get this pulled up. Sorry, I should have had this like already
You're fine.
like to go. So, all right. Well, we have most of our recognition. There are some pieces of it that are going to be missing tonight, but what is here is what is most important. And so that is what we are going to honor and celebrate. And so, like Heidi said, just we're so grateful that everybody is here and everybody is together and we are able to celebrate you guys and all the things that we have done as well. Okay, it's not clicking. Hold on. Okay. What is it? Okay. All right, there we go. I had to click a couple times. All right, well, you guys, this is all about our red jackets. And so we are so excited for our, let's count them, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 red jackets that we have for this month. And so we have 2 amazing team leaders with Lisa and Amy, and then star team builders, Vicki and Anna and Laura and Rachel. And back in red, we're so excited for this, Bobby Joe, that you are back in red, and we are excited as we are watching you. So congratulations to that. And then you guys, we do want to honor and celebrate. I am so sorry. Like every time I click, it says that it's not flipping the screen. And so it is very little, throw me off my game a little bit. Is that we do have a director in qualification. She is from Jennifer Huff's unit. So it is part of our Mary Kay larger family, our larger lineage. And so we are so excited to be able to celebrate her as well as she is working to finish her DIQ period this month to be able to go to seminar as a brand new sales director. And then we're going to do a little bit of recognition based on career level. So we wanted to be able to recognize based on team production and then by team commissions as well. So the first with team production, at the star team builder level, this is where, of course, star team builders can earn 4, 6, or 8% commission. And so number 4 is Vicki Highsmith. Number 3 is Anna Maria Klunt. Number 2 is Laura Newson. And number 1 is Rachel White. So congratulations to you guys. And I should have said, this is based on still May's results. Like, I know it's weird. It's June 20th. But this is all based still on May results for this team production. So congratulations to our star team builders for their rankings for that. And then at our team leader level, number 2 is Lisa Clark. And then number 1 is Amy England. And they're earning 9 or 13% commissions just with those additional team members that they have on their team. And then, of course, as a DIQ, you can still earn the 9 or 13% in commission as well. So congratulations to Sarah Franklin again on that. And oh, did I hit too many pages, I think. Oh, because no, the next part we are opting not to do because I did not have all of the information. I was thrown off a little bit on that. And so that is our recognition, short and sweet, for the month of May. And then just to mark our calendars, this is the slide that should have been able to show, but our next Red Hot call that will be scheduled in July, it's always on the 3rd Thursday, so it would be July 18th would be the next scheduled Red Hot call. So Heidi, I'll turn it back over to you, girl.
Hey, one of the things I noticed in there, which is so exciting, is to see that someone that wasn't even in red, Bobby Joe, at the end of May is already in red already this month. I love that things can just pivot in an instant. And so Bobby Joe, congratulations for earning this call. Yeah, I'm super excited you're on. And this red hot that I get to share with tonight really is for all of us. But I wanted to especially make it geared towards reds and sales directors. If you have some ideas that I'm not thinking of that you're like, oh, this helped me, hop in there, because I know maybe I didn't capture it all. Okay. Okay. So first thing I want to share is about dating your Mary Kay. Are you in love with your Mary Kay? It's like a dating relationship. And you remember when you were in love, like you like, I'll spend all the time with your honey and you did all the things and you were just so in love and engaged and you were hitting a number 10 all the time, right? So I want you to kind of look at your Mary Kay business and think, where am I at on like 10 is like, oh my gosh, like I'm so hot in love with you, like or one is like, I just close the door to my Mary Kay office and just pretend it goes away. All different levels, by the way. So I will not judge anybody. And you don't have to share your number. But I think this is funny to talk about just being in love, like to date again your business. Because sometimes, well, let me just share. I've been married for like 28 years, and you have to date your spouse. Like you have to keep that going, right? And I think about that with my Mary Kay too. It's like, I've really got to pay attention and fall in love with different aspects at different times, right? And then sometimes I'm really like cold towards it. So go ahead and get your number. And if you want to share, you can, if you want to. Oh, look at your baby bump. Okay. Is anybody want to share like kind of where they're at? Like I'm definitely back at a 10. Awesome. I can see that. I can feel that. All the activity. Yeah. Love it. I love it. Okay.
Heidi, can I say it depends on the day?
Yes. Yeah. That's a good one.
When you have this really good day and you're like, I sold $300 today, and you're like, it's a 10 today, and then you go a few days and people blow you off, and then you're like, today's like a 3. So I think it's normal to fluctuate a little bit.
That's good. That's good. Yeah. And sometimes like I'm in a season too. Like I'm in a season where I'm really in love with my business. And sometimes I'm in a season where it takes me a lot. Like I'm not in love with my business. I'm just like married to it. The ball and chain. It's like, ah, but it's kind of funny. Like I didn't mean to say that, but it did kind of come out that way. But we all have seasons and it's okay because I've been in Mary Kay for over right around 15 years. So I've definitely been through all of that. But it's the commitment. Okay. And when you're in red, you've kind of committed, made that little step. When you're in sales director, you've made a little more of a commitment, right? And so we're kind of like married to this thing called Mary Kay, and where you've got this love-hate relationship sometimes that we love the business when it's going well, and then we backpedal when it's not. And then when we are overwhelmed, we just shut down. At least I do. And then like you like, oh yeah, I forgot I'm a consultant, and someone places an order. Oh yeah, I forgot to do that. So, and when you're working another job, it's so easy to do that because you don't have to rely on your Mary Kay business. So you can kind of keep it in the background, I've been guilty of that, like myself. So yeah, so I want us to fall in love with our Mary Kay business. And I want you to recognize what season that you're in, or like Sherry said, depends on the day, and if you're having that good day or that bad day, but really is kind of like a commitment to you, a commitment to your goals when you first signed your beauty agreement, everything that you wanted to happen. I can remember how fearful I was signing that, but all the excitement and everything that I wanted, and a lot of that has already come true. And I'm like, whoa, like, doesn't have to take you 15 years. That was just my journey. Okay. So really looking at that and being okay, embracing that, we are where we are right now. And sometimes it looks different. So the next thing I was really want to talk to you about is really, this is, let me see. Let me just give him a heart. It's my son. He's gonna come spend the night. He's gonna bless me with spending the night. I love it. Okay, one of the things that this is kind of funny is have you guys heard of preppers, people who prep like for the end of the world? Okay. Okay. So I was like, this is funny, like my Mary Kay prepping, like how to prep for the next level, like how to get ready for what's going to happen next. And I was just thinking that's kind of funny. And how to prepare ourselves for what we want. Like we may say we want this, but what can I do to prepare myself? What are some basic things? So I thought about this and I was thinking, how do I prepare myself? And I could share that. Well, I prepare myself emotionally and mentally, like especially before I make a move in my Mary Kay. If I know I want to move, I'm looking at myself emotionally. I'm looking at myself mentally. Am I in a good place? Do I have good people, support systems around me that I can talk to? I really look at that. Like, is this the timing? Like, you know what I mean? Like, is this timing? I look at myself physically too. Like, what can I do to be better health wise, to get my body operating at its ultimate? You know, there's been many seasons in my life I haven't been able to even do that. But I look at myself physically and thinking, what can I change? What can I, maybe it's better sleeping habits to prepare myself for the next step. Okay. I know this sounds weird, but I really kind of gear up for growth. I don't know how else to explain it. Like I feel it in my spirit, like in my gut. And I'm like, okay, what can I do on this end to get myself ready? Okay. And this is kind of what I go through spiritually. I start to read, you know, I might spend some more time meditating than what I normally do. Maybe in my car rides, maybe I turn off the music and I just listen to silence to hear what's filling my head. So I did that today. I had a long drive to my doctor's appointment. And I remember I was just like, I didn't call anybody. Usually I'll call and use that really work time, you know, work time, no work time today. It was all just be still, listen, you know, be in the moment. And that's okay because sometimes we need to decompress. But, you know, getting yourself ready spiritually, I believe is so important. Maybe you're going to read or join a Bible study, or it could be a small increment. Mary got us those books, 100 days of, thinking bigger, I think growing bigger. And, you know, it could be a devotion like that. It doesn't have to be really long, but just getting yourself prepared, prepping for what God has for you in this next season. Okay. Educationally, I look at the education, like maybe I need to go on Mary Kay in Touch and do some more. I found out today from one of my new unit members that MK Confident, it's really cool if you've never tried it out. I've never even seen that. I said, I've never even seen this. I'm like, oh my gosh. And I'm like, I need to go through MK Confident. And it's a whole section on all of our training. I'm like, I'm earning all your badges again. Okay. So I need to go through and start to do those and just educationally getting yourself ready as well. Like maybe you need to learn more about products, or maybe you need to learn more about whatever it is. And then the last thing I think of is commitment to myself for my next best step, like really making that commitment. So one of the things I wanted to share with you is I don't want any one of those things to keep you from moving, from growing, because I remember when I was moving and it was kind of fast for me. I didn't have all the things in place. You know what I'm saying? It just kind of happened. But now as a leader, when I'm looking for growth and I know I'm going to go for a big goal, I'm actually looking at all these areas of my life. Do I have these in order, or as best order as I can get them? Okay. Like, am I operating at my prime emotionally and mentally? If not, this is going to be taxing on me. I need to get things in place for that. Am I operating physically? Do I feel good? You know, I have a chronic illness. Am I in a good place with that? Am I taking my vitamins? Am I exercising? Whatever it is. Spiritually, how is my, you know, my walk with the Lord? Am I listening to him? Because, you know, when I'm working on a goal, sometimes we get so laser focused that sometimes I'm like, oh, God, I forgot about him. You know what I mean? Like I need to be connected, that I listen to him and that I'm listening to his voice. Okay. And then of course, educationally, what can I do? I'll read books, you guys. I'll have a lot of books out that I'm reading. And it's kind of funny because my husband always makes fun of me because he says I read like 2 or 3 books at once. Amy, let's see here. Just got home. It's not too late. Let me tell her. Not too late on Mary's Zoom. So I do all these things to kind of prepare myself. Now, if you're already in it and you're in the movement, just keep going. You're going to check off some of these lists already. You don't need to stop. You just keep going. Okay. But what I found that sometimes in our Mary Kay business, we kind of lose our way. And I think all of us have been in Mary Kay for a while. Bobby Joe, I know you've been in Mary Kay for a long time as well. And you do lose your way sometimes. And I think about the children of Israel, that they walked around that promised land for 40 years in a circle, just relying on God to feed them. But they didn't get into the promised land for a while, for 40 years, right? And so I sometimes think, I got to put my glasses on because I can't read all my notes. I sometimes think that we are, that's like me surviving on my reorders as we're walking around. It's like no new growth, no new faces, I'm just walking around and say I'm going to go to the promised land, but I'm not. I'm just walking in a circle, relying. And that's me in just the reorder state where I have no new business and nothing really work going. I'm not really working. And so sometimes we get lost there, and it's okay if we get lost, in the desert. But it's time to push through that if you're ready to move. And also I want to say, sometimes we get this is me anyhow. I would get so worried about being on the other side of my goal. Like, could I maintain it? What if I can't do it? Like become a sales director, earn a car, whatever it is. I would always have this in my mind. And I remember thinking, don't judge it until you get there. Like you got to cross over into the promised land, and then you'll figure it out. Like if you can figure out how to get to this point, then you can figure it out on the other side. Okay. So it was always a mental game for me every time it was up here. Like, I'm not sure I can do this, or how can I maintain it? And really, it's just the fear and the lack of faith. And just because I couldn't see, and I had to, trust in the Lord. And it was so hard sometimes. And so I put in here, God will prepare you. God will prepare you. Okay. So suggestions to get ready to cross over, to move up for me, because I feel like if we're in that prepping, stage, wherever we are in our business, whether sales director, red, or whatever, for me, my prepping game, this is what it looks like. Daily affirmations, make sure they're current and relevant. I sometimes need to change them, right? And so I always do an affirmation of something, a negative thought that I've had, then I know I need to change that opposite. And that needs to be my affirmation, because that negativity got in somehow. Okay. And it could be the smallest little negative thing. Okay. It's when you're going for a goal, I'm telling you, your mental game is so important. So I would just take that and do the opposite as my affirmation. Okay. Like, could be anything, honestly. Like if somebody postponed or canceled, oh, here we go again. Nobody, you say the worst things, and it's like, okay, I would say everybody loves to book with me. Everybody wants to book with me. That would be my affirmation if somebody canceled, because I know that negative mindset. And then, so I got to change it immediately. The second thing is visualization. And this, I teach my kids these things as well. And I say with the visualization, this was easier for me because I used to compete ice skating, and we would have to visualize our program, our short program and our long program. And I have to visualize everything. Like did I share this in my unit meeting or here? I don't remember. Did you guys hear this before? Like I had to visualize where my arms were, how I was going to cross my arms, where I was going to lift off the blade, if I was on the inside blade, the outside blade. I had to visualize everything in this routine. But the thing is, you visualize it as a perfect routine because it's muscle memory. And so athletes do this. They have visualizations. And I remember teaching, okay, Mary, I got to figure out what your Zoom is. I got a text. Oh, got it right here. Hold on. Sorry, guys. 305. 305. 3108. Okay. 305. Okay. I sent it to her. So I think she's going to be hopping on here. So visualization is so powerful that even athletes do it. And I remember teaching my son Adian when he was in middle school about doing a layup. And I was talking about like visualize you doing the layup and what that's going to look like and the way your body moves. But here's the thing. I remember visualizing becoming a sales director. And in the beginning, it was really foggy. Like I had no details around it. I was trying to visualize me walk across the stage. But the more detail that you get in that visualization, the better it is. Live in that. So like what shoes am I going to be wearing? What earrings? Who's going to be in the crowd? What song's going to be playing? You got to add the details to your visualization. That's something I learned. In the beginning, it was so hard. I couldn't even visualize because it was such a big goal that I had went after it for 8 or 10 years that I was like, how can I visualize this? And then I had to keep adding the details. So that visualization is going to help you for every goal. Really, it can help you for every goal. Not just Mary Kay either. This is definitely something that my kids use, both of these things. Matter of fact, the daily affirmations just came up in a conversation with my middle son, Caden, last week. So we were just talking about that again. So daily affirmations, visualize with details, you finishing whatever that goal is, that move up goal. Another thing I would have you do is make a bug list. What is bugging you? I spent some time with my unit about this, like write down everything right now that is bothering you. Okay. And we have to problem solve and figure out how to solve it. It could be the simplest thing. Sometimes you need to bring that bug list to your sales director, go over it with them, let them know like this is really bothering me. It could be the smallest thing and they might be like, oh, just do this or do that, and they tweak it and it changes the way you think about it forever. Okay, so whenever I'm frustrated before growth, I write down, I definitely make a mental note, but it's better if I write it down, what is bothering me, because if I write it down, then I can have a plan, I can delegate it, I can talk about it, and I can see it. Okay, because we definitely have those things that trip us up that are bothering us, that's playing over and over, but we got to get it out so we can see it and we can digest it and make it, what do I want to say? Make it conquerable, but if it's up in our head the whole time, it gets bigger and bigger and it becomes a big old thing, right? So make a bug list of everything that is bothering you. It could be the smallest thing, like, and we're going to talk about your bug list, what you can delegate off of there. Well, that was my next thing, delegation list, because a lot of those things on your bug list, you might need to delegate. And we'll talk a little bit about that here in a minute. Make a list of things that are holding you back from moving up. Whatever you feel is holding you back from moving you up, your frustration, write that down and write it down so you're very aware of it, and then we can work on it. Okay. Because it is a mental game, but it's also looking at it, and sometimes you just need somebody else's eyes. I know there were several things I had, and I mean, after talking to Maya, I was like, oh my gosh, like that was not a big deal. But in my mind, it was so big, you guys. It was so big, I just couldn't conquer it. But to take somebody else to come in and that's been there or just done it, a couple times, and they can digest it a little different and show you, break it down. And it doesn't have to be so big and monstrous and defeating. Okay. Because it's definitely something defeating if it's keeping you back, right, from moving up. And for everybody, that's going to look different. Like for every person, that's going to be something different. And then I love this. You guys know Linda Tupin's saying, I am where I am by the choices I have made or have allowed others to make for me, right? I have a little tagline that I share, that I like to share, is that you have the power to change your story. That's my little coin phrase. I don't know if anybody else has that, but that's what I came up with one day, a couple years ago. And it's by the choices that you make that you have the power to change your own story. And I don't give anybody that power, right? Like you can change your story if you don't like what's being read to you. And that's always been freeing to me, because I've had a lot of stories in my background that I've had to pivot and change my story, pivot, change the way I think about myself, pivot, change the way I work, pivot, change the way. you know, and so you have the power to change your own story. Don't give that power over to anyone else. And it is going to be connected to the choices that you made or have allowed others to make for you. Okay. But I also like that I have the power because I'm not stuck anywhere. I'm never stuck. I have the freedom to move freely and choose what I want and advance when I want. I'm not ever stuck. Okay. That's what you need to say those things to you. I'm moving forward. You got to always say it in a positive tone. But anyhow, and don't keep looking back. I'm reminded of the story of Lot's wife when God said, I'm going to destroy, I think it was Sodom and Gomorrah. And he said, don't look back. I'm going to lead you to a new place. Keep looking forward. And Lot's wife was missing the things that were behind her. And I am so guilty of this. You know, Mary Kay may not look the same as it did, you know, last year, the year before, or 2 years, but you don't look back. I'm learning this right now in this season. I just look forward, you know, look forward. God, what do you have for me? I'm not going to turn into a pillar. And God turned her into a pillar of salt. So she stood there and never moved ever again. And so that story of Lot's wife, I think makes me think of putting my hands to the plow and moving forward. And it can be fearful, but I'm not going to look back, you know, at whatever's happening back here. I'm just going to trust God and move forward, put my hand to the plow, go to work, and then work on building whatever God has for me, because that's going to look different for all of us in our different seasons. And, you know, we don't judge anybody. You know what I'm saying? Like everybody has a different season. And so whatever he's called you to, rest assured, you know what that is. You don't even have to justify it to me, your sales director. It's between you and the Lord. What he's called you to, period. Okay. There's no turning back. There's no looking back at what happened yesterday. It's moving forward. God, what do you have for me next? What do you have for me next? How can I be present in this next season? How can I work this business, you know, in this next season? And here's some ideas that I had for you guys. This is sales directors. If you want to tap into some of this ideas that helped you to move up to the next level, to prepare yourself. Number one was a decided heart. Decide already what you want. No one can decide for you. And this is where I'm at. Like, okay, what do you want? What's next? Like, what do I want? And number two, a clear picture of what you want. Like, just like that visualization, put all the details in there. You have to visualize what that looks like for you, and go over it morning and night. You know, just think on it, meditate on it. Let it just, like, I don't know, wash over you. You know what I mean? And the third thing I said would be, like, gather your communication systems to prepare yourself. This was something that I thought, oh my gosh, I don't want this to shut anybody down, but these are just ideas to help you get ready for this season of moving up. One is, how am I communicating with my team? Okay, you're on here, you have a team. You probably have a goal to move up. And you got, am I doing Voxer? Do I have a Facebook group already that I'm posting in? Am I showing up at the meetings and leading part of my directors' meetings? Am I communicating to my team by cards, letters, phone calls? Am I, you know, sending them little love messages? However, but communicate to your team as you are moving. Okay. They want to hear that you care about them, that you love them, that they are part of this win and this move up. Okay. I've been so surprised in my life. Sometimes I think some people are not watching. They are watching, like, in your team. Okay. They might be quiet in the background, but they're watching. And then they're like, oh, that person ordered. Yeah. Oh, she's moved up to this, you know, they're watching, like, you know. So to your customers, oh, wait, I had something more on communication to your team. Communicate. Oh, Linda always taught us to communicate on all the platforms. Like, are you text message, voice message, maybe a Voxer group, email, the e-cards that we can send out, you can send out to your team. I think you guys can, I'm not sure. They can? Okay. And then Facebook posts, written letter. I know Sherry's really good at sending out written letters and cards. You know, communicate to your team, get them on board with where you're going. it's been fun watching Bobby Joe do that with her team this last month, really just get into high gear and recognizing them over and over on social media platforms. I'm stuck on Facebook, but you know, all the platforms. That's awesome. It's good because they need a win and they need to know how they're helping you win. For your customers, your VIP group, do you have a newsletter? One of the things you might want to think about investing in is Unit Assist. For I believe for consultants, there's a $29.99 a month. It's for you will give your customers birthday cards, and twice a month they get communication from Unit Assist. They get text and email and a customer newsletter. So you can have that. I remember when I was first a sales director, I got that right away because I needed some way to keep communicating. This was before COVID with my customers, and I still have it to this day. Okay. So I have that platform and it's really helped keep my customers connected to me. They can opt out of some of that. Mary, do you have another system that you use or Sherry on that one?
I use, it's called Creatively Pink. That they manage all the same kind of platforms. So posting in a Facebook group, doing text messages, emails. I'm not sure what the cost is for consultants on that. But they do have a consultant plan with that.
Oh, right. And they post to Facebook for them, consultants?
Well, now that Facebook has changed their things, they're not able to post, but they provide us with a post that we can
Post.
like, so a week in advance, or like by Sunday, actually, I'm sorry, typically by Friday, they've already given us the post so that we can schedule them or have somebody schedule them in our group for us.
Okay, so Creatively Pink, Unit Assist, Sherry.
I was using Project Broadcast until I lost my assistant, and I have no idea how to operate it. So it's not being sent out now.
Dude, I have a quick question. Mary, if you don't mind sharing, how much does the director cost?
So you can it depends on what services you are having them do. So for me, I'm having her do a lot just so it does delegate a lot of that off my plate. So I pay $150 a month, but that is for both customers and my unit communication. And that is emails, text, and social.
So is that like where you guys are doing like your pic collages and having that go forth? Because I'm at a point where like I realized in this last 2 weeks that if I am going to move up, and I've heard this numerous times, and I think this is maybe why I'm not finishing, but I'm releasing this, I have to get an assistant because putting the virtual glam packets together, that was too much time. Making the pic collages, it's too much time. It's taking away from like what I actually need to be doing, but I also know that I still need to do the recognition. So like I'm trying to figure out like what is the best route to go about that. Because I was honestly going to hire one of my high school students, but I'm very, when it comes to recognition or posting or something, because I know that that's something that also thrives me as a person. I want to make sure that I entrust that. I don't want to say necessarily a high school student, but it's easy to miss things like name spelling or like what it is that I want to just make sure I've got stuff in the right place.
Right. And I would honestly say on that, like, I mean, honestly, a high school student would be amazing at that because they are so social media savvy that they know how to do all of that stuff. And so for them to do, I mean, yes, you would want to double check the quality of their work as far as the spelling and things, but they could easily put that together. I do have, so Laura Wells is a consultant that's in Linda's unit. She is who does my recognition posts like that. So my birthdays, anniversaries, she just does mainly for my unit. She doesn't do anything for customer wise. And just that recognition things. So again, like once a week recognition, like updates as far as like the $600 prize, the birthdays and anniversaries and things. Like it literally is like usually less than $20 a month. You know, it just kind of depends on how much recognition there is to post or how many birthdays or things like that. But it is so inexpensive. And then I know she's doing all of it and handling it. So you can definitely delegate that to somebody.
Yeah. and quicker, but I remember that too. I was in DIQ and I had to learn how to do pit collage. And I'm like, I was on Linda's legacy leader call. And I remember thinking, I don't know how to do pit collage. And I had to learn really quick, but it was just taking me away from my,
Yeah.
like Bobby, like Joe, I was moving and didn't have time for that. So another person, so Laura Joy would be a great one. And then we had Cherish Miller. She's in both of our, she's in Sherry's unit, and we could always reach out to her to see she's very familiar with pit collage. And so I know she is actually going forward. I'm not going to be utilizing her going forward. So she might have an opening because I am doing a new package with Unit Assist. And one of the things I learned from Linda Tupin is even if you can't afford it, you cannot afford not to communicate. So she always says your highest ticket item is not prize giveaways, it's communication. And I'd always run to her and say, run it through her. This is how much I'm spending on communication. Is it too much for this unit? She's like, no, you're at a great, and I'm just upping my communication starting in July. So my package is going to be closer to the 300. But it's encompassing a whole lot more of a whole bunch of things. But I've just realized like I need to up my game in communication on all platforms. I have to up my game. And so I'm going to try that. So 150, 300, whatever, low is $20 a month right now. Just somebody to come and help you. I mean, that would be golden. Like get that off your list, delegate that off so you can get, that's a great idea. Laura Joy, I don't know if she has openings or not. Do you know, Mary, or she could just reach out to her?
I'm sure she probably, I mean, I don't know for sure, but you could reach out to her. The other thing I will say too, Bobby Joe, about if you do have somebody that is, because you mentioned the glam packets for your facials, that's where like I did like it when I had somebody that was local that I could, even if like when I ordered the supplies, I could get all of that together. And even if they didn't do it at my house, they could come and pick up the supplies, take it to their house and get it together, so that that does take that off of your plate as well. So again, if you've got a high school student, I mean, stuffing envelopes is not a hard job at all. That if they can do that and the like graphics, you know, pick collage or Canva or things like that, I mean, it's a smart way to be able to have somebody help you with all of those things. That's not going to take a lot of time or effort on their part as well.
Yeah. Oh,
And
yeah.
and something reminded me when I was trying to get help is she said, don't give all your help to one person. Don't give all your assignments to one person, because if that one person is sick, that one person has a baby, that one person has surgery, you have nobody to do any of your things. And so she's taught me to kind of spread it out. So like I have Cherish in my unit that helps me. My niece has helped me the entire time that I've been in Mary Kay. Like she'll come and put my product away. She puts stickers on stuff that it does not require me to do. She will make my beauty packets. Even if you need to make the first one, like this is what I want in it. Here it is. And then they know what it's supposed to look like. She would put those together for me. She's getting ready to go to college and now I'm gonna miss her, but but I had that. And you were talking about your postings and wanting to do that. And I remember this conversation that Heidi and I had, because I like doing my own Facebook postings. I like doing my whatever post I'm going to post for the day. If I want certain product posted, that is something that I want to do. And so I don't give that up. And so she told me, she goes, if it doesn't give you joy and it doesn't make you money, don't do it. And so I would have to make a list and I'd be like, okay, what are the things I want to hang on to? And what are the things I'm willing to give up? And I still do my own Facebook posts, except for Cherish does my recognition posts. I have somebody that does my newsletter, that kind of thing. But as far as like product posts, those sorts of things, I do all those myself, because it helps me to learn more about the product. I feel like I dive into it deeper because I want to know what I'm posting. So
that's really good. Like if it's not bringing you joy, then we have to delegate it. And if it's not making you money, then we have to delegate it, right? Like we got to figure out, it's that bug list. Like what is weighing you down? What can we take off, that has to be done, but doesn't have to be done by you. Yeah. definitely. Like delegation is huge. I would say it's just huge. And different seasons I've had delegated different things. Like I've had in-office help. I've had all different variety of help. It just depends on the season. Now you have little babies, so you might need some, I even have it here, help with kids, help with dinner time. You might have someone come in and prep your dinner, do your dinner, it just depends on the season of life that you're in. Like now, I don't need any of that. So, it's different. And if I'm working more virtually, then I don't really need a lot of in-office help. You know what I'm saying? So it just depends on the season and your needs are going to change. So just be very aware if you're frustrated, it means something is broken. There's a system broken and I've got to fix it. And so the thing is fixing it faster than just letting it sit there. And I'm guilty of that too, just letting it being frustrated at it, but you have the power to change your own story and to get help and a new thought, like Linda would say, take action on that new thought. So that's really, honestly, that's really what I had. I had a whole thing on delegation, but we covered pretty much all that. Hostess bags. Yeah. Oh, text blast. Scipio, there's a customer blast in Scipio that I've used before. I think that's $29.99 a month. That you can blast out to all your customers. Is that right, guys? Is it customers or consult? It's customers. Yes, customers. I had that subscription for a long while. I was using that all the time. So I just make one text to all my customers. That really helped a lot. So whatever it is, write down the things that you need to move off that you don't have to touch, that someone else could do for you, that you could be doing the things that you need to be doing, like, for your time. And everybody's different in a different season. Like you're in the very push critical season. So probably a lot more delegation. And I will tell you this, when I would plan more help on the front end, that always helped me more. Like before Sherry Offspring, I remember sitting down in January and I was sick at the time, COVID or something, and I couldn't go to leadership. But I remember I was planning, like I got all this extra help because I knew I was shifting to a new gear. Like, you know what I mean? I knew I was getting ready for growth, offspringing her, and we were pushing for Cadillac. And I was like, oh my gosh, I need twice as much help now before it gets here. And it was awesome. And I will tell you, I loved it. I mean, it was hard paying all the different people, like Sherry said, because it's better to farm it out if you can. But it was worth it for that season. So, prepare yourself for that next best season. Think of what you need to get off your plate that others can do for you. Yeah, that's all I have for tonight, really, guys. Great feedback. Any other systems that I'm missing, guys?
Well, I just want to say, like, I loved when you added there at the end that it may not, I mean, yes, there is delegation within your Mary Kay business, but even you may have to look at delegation in your personal life for things like, because that may be where you need more help versus in your business, and it does come in seasons or whatever. But, because like Heidi shared too, like when you have little ones, your life looks completely different than when you have older kids. Like I remember I had somebody that came and cleaned my house because there was messes all the time, and now like my house doesn't get as messy. Like we can manage, and my kids are old enough that they can clean the house instead, and so it looks a little bit different. And so I think that's where it's powerful, like that Heidi talked about the bug list, is to be able, like, what are the spots that you are feeling overwhelmed, that stress you out, that frustrate you, and whether it's Mary Kay or personal or whatever, that's where you can get help that you need.
Yeah. And especially if you want to move up fast, more help. Like you almost can't get enough help to move fast. Like,
And Heidi, I was talking about, like when you were working on a goal, whatever, working on for a car or whatever, Jason cooked the meals because willing to do that to help you so that you could work, or, I would have my husband, if he is not working that day, I would do the Walmart list and order it, and he would go pick it up and bring it home and put it away, So it's okay to delegate to your family too.
Yeah, I'm so glad you brought that up, Sherry. I missed that whole portion of the family getting involved. Yeah. And even Chris has made deliveries for her. And yeah, like to this day, since I became a director, I'm almost ashamed to say I don't grocery shop anymore. I don't like it. It doesn't bring me joy, does not make me money. And my husband's okay with doing it. And now sometimes he'll say, "Will you go to the grocery store with me?" I'm like, "Yes, I hate it, but I'll go, with him." But if I'm working on something like I will tell you, he does a majority of the grocery shopping now. I hardly ever go to the grocery store. And he cooks a lot still. We both do now, but he does a lot still now. Yeah, so it's like just the basic daily things. Amy, anything that you feel like you need help on? I like her little smiley face on there. Well, thank you guys for joining tonight. I hope it was helpful. Make a list of some things that you want to do since tonight's call, like 1 or 2 things that you can, doesn't have to be a whole entire list of 10 things. 1 or 2 things that you can progress. Yeah, Amy?
Yes. Remember when you was talking about the Scipio and like reaching out to your customers and things? I had thought about it years ago, but I have massive amount. What is the caps on that for the price? Like you said, 29, and that seemed like a great price, but how many can you send to?
Yes, let me think about that. There are actually different packages. I think there are like 2 or 3 different packages. And it will tell you how many text messages, but there's so many that you can that I remember. Like I never even maxed it out. I didn't.
And that's how
Okay.
podcast is too.
That who Sherry?
Project Broadcast. It's a blasting system too. You can do it or email, but you have so many that come in your package, but then however many you're over, it's charged by this much. Like, there's a formula.
Okay. And how much was that? Do you remember a month?
I'll say I think I have one of the bigger packages for Project Broadcast, and it's only $30.
I say
month.
I think I paid.
Yeah.
And I didn't. Yeah, I think I did 30.
And for the ones that has got the Project Broadcast, have you all had Scipio before and prefer Project Broadcast?
I did not.
So I did have Scipio before Scipio was affiliated with Mary Kay. And I didn't mind it, but I do find that Project Broadcast I do like it better. Like I just feel like it's easier to use than what Scipio was. Now, again, I don't know what they changed when they when they kind of became a preferred partner with Mary Kay, but I mean, I can do it on my computer. I can do it on my phone. I even have it set up to where it is technically like my Mary Kay line. So I can make outbound calls from it and receive calls through it, so that it truly is like a separate line for my business. And one of the things I like about it, not to get into too much detail, is so when you're using the credits, that's for like when you're doing some of like your broadcast messages. But if you are having a chat conversation one-on-one with somebody, that doesn't use your credits. Like that doesn't count against, like the credits only go towards your like broadcast kind of messages.
Okay, and the credit you get every month with the plan you purchase.
Yep.
And then
And everything rolls over. So like whatever you don't use one month, you keep in your account. But you do build, like you do add credits every month. Yeah.
Okay, and then we do physically add all of the phone numbers, right?
You can, yes. And that's where I don't know if you were on yet, Amy, when I was talking about it earlier with the virtual assistant that I use. That's part of what I pay. The part of that service that I pay for them is that they sync 3 or 4 times a day with Mary Kay InTouch. So if I add, like if I have a new customer that I add, like through My Customers Plus app, or a new consultant joins, I don't have to add them to Project Broadcast because they sync with InTouch for me so that it's automatically added.
Your virtual assistant does.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Because I think that's where maybe part of my knowledge when I've been in DIQ before or been a director before, I think that was what the tools I did not have, and
Mhm.
we didn't get educated about those exact things in the
And
social
they've come
media
a
and
long
all.
way.
Yeah, for real.
Yeah, it's so much easier now to communicate. And like Linda would always say, spend most of your money on communication platforms.
Yeah.
On several different platforms. I mean, more than prices. Like your communication budget should be higher than your prices. I mean, that's just the way she trained us. Which makes sense because communication is everything, you know. I just love
Yes.
that. That's such a good, oh my gosh, Mary, thanks for sharing all about that.
Yeah. Well,
Was
and
that-
I would say one other thing too, before we close is, like reading Bobby Joe's message on there, complete transparency. I don't have a help at home. I would just encourage you guys, like, don't feel like you haven't done enough or you're not at that spot. Like, there may not have been a reason for you to necessarily have help. Like, you are in a different spot right now. So, like, you don't know what you don't know. You know what I mean? Like, don't give yourself some grace to know that it's like, okay, now I know that there's options. Now I get to decide. Like I said, now I get to change my story, and make a decision from there. Because, I mean, we've all been through that to where, like, there's been times when I've needed help and I didn't get help. There's been times when I've had help and have been like, how in the heck am I paying for, we've all been in all those different seasons of it. It's just knowing what it is that you need right now at this moment and being able to start to implement one step at a time to get that help that you need.
And let me share, I'm glad you said that because let me share this to you as well. Working full-time sales directors need more help. And so I've always had to pay probably more for help than what people my unit size usually pay if they don't have another job. And I've been willing to do that so I can keep another full-time job. Okay. So because, and Sherry's the same way, she works full-time. Mary now works full-time. You need more. I've always had a lot more help on the front end because I have always worked full-time. So I've had to have it to survive. I mean, literally, like, different seasons look different. And I remember when Sherry was coming up to, were you team building? Yeah, you were in DIQ, I think, and getting help somebody clean your house. Remember that conversation? And she's like, yeah, I don't want to do it or something. And then the next week I'm talking to her on the phone and she had the house cleaner there and she had her assistant in the office. And I'm like, she's going to finish because she's getting delicate because she's superwoman and she's still a superwoman. She likes to do a million things, but you can't do them all well. Like you don't need to do them all. You really don't. And so, take that leap of faith, get the help now. And you will be so glad, even if it's just one thing, if you can only wrap yourself head around one item, just get that. And then the next item, because I was very slow to get help myself at first. Maya made me at my grand opening, because I told her I want to be a sales director, hire someone at my grand opening. And I was like, I haven't even made a sale yet. I'm like, okay. And I got my best customer. She's going to be my office help. I'm like, oh my Lord. So sometimes you just have somebody pushing you, Do you remember that, Sherry? Yeah. So everybody's help's going to look different and every season's going to look different what you need. So, but you definitely can't do it all, And like I said, if maybe you have to be resourceful and your husband has to help, or that's how my husband, he wanted to. But maybe your kids, if you have older kids, delegate, it just depends on what season of life you're in. So that's all I have, guys. Well, this is good. I can't wait to see what help we get and that we can have some peace of mind and work our business with more peace and ease as we delegate more things out. And it's just smart business, to have people helping you, working with you. So, all right. Any other questions?
I don't think so, but Heidi, this was incredible, like really. And I think you were perfect to teach this because of like you said, working full-time as well, but just through all of the different seasons that as you've been building your business, with health challenges, when you're feeling great, all of those things. I mean, it is just that good reminder that you just have to take some time to figure out what it is that you want and what frustrates you and how to be able to take that next step. And so I think you were perfect to train on this, honestly. So thank you so much for taking time to prepare and give us all the tips and tricks on that.
Yeah, and thank you, sales directors, for hopping in, because there's definitely things I left out, and I'm glad you brought those up for everybody. And a good conversation. I love with the Reds, because really figuring that piece of the puzzle is so important, you guys. Don't let it trip you up and keep you from moving forward. And just creatively, you'll find somebody.
Yes.
Thank you, Mary.
Absolutely. You're
And
welcome.
guys, thank you, guys. Love you all, and we're just praying for your year end and beginning of the new year.
Yes.
So, do we made a decision, we're doing All in Family Night not on the 1st, right?
Yes, on the 8th. So it'll be
On
the second Monday, since
Okay,
the
perfect.
first Monday is on the 1st. We won't know anything yet.
By then. That's right.
So
All right, love
yes.
you guys.
Awesome. Have a great night, everybody.
Bye.